The official Manchester United website recently announced some rather unsurprising news. Mason Mount has suffered a hamstring injury and is expected to be sidelined for about a month. The English midfielder only played 45 minutes in last weekend's defeat against Brighton, and his absence was felt as reports emerged that he left the pitch because he didn't feel right. Last season, Mason Mount spent significant time in the hospital dealing with various issues, and while the summer break without the Euro tournament was expected to help him regain his fitness, the situation hasn't improved as much as hoped. The question now is whether there's a hidden issue with the former Chelsea star's injury and why he seems so fragile. Today, let's delve into this topic with United Universe and try to find some answers. After the opening match win against Fulham in the new season, manager Erik ten Hag praised Mason Mount for his significant contributions to Manchester United's overall play. However, there was a small detail that went unnoticed. Ten Hag mentioned the need for Mount to maintain his fitness. But barely a week after that statement, Mount suffered a hamstring injury again and is expected to be out for up to 5 weeks. This recurrence is not a mere coincidence, especially considering he hasn't played much since joining Manchester United. In his final season at Chelsea, Mason Mount suffered 3 injuries and hardly played until he announced his departure. This situation reminds me of a similar case in the past with Fernando Torres, who lost his form after moving from Liverpool to Chelsea. Former defender Jamie Carragher once revealed that Liverpool had hidden Torres' fitness issues to secure a £50 million deal in 2011. Similarly, AC Milan did the same with Ricardo Kaká when he joined Real Madrid, and he too was never the same afterward. While Mason Mount's condition may not be as dire as Torres or Kaká back then, he is certainly heading in a similar direction. Another factor impacting his situation is the tactical approach at Manchester United, which often leaves players exhausted against opponents. As mentioned, United places heavy responsibilities on their central midfielders, requiring them to support the fullbacks during wide attacks from the opposition. This explains why Casemiro now only plays about 60 minutes, and why even Kobbie Mainoo, at just 18, struggles to maintain top performance throughout the match. Mason Mount is known for his relentless pressing and tireless movement, but now even that seems beyond him. The fact is, the 1999-born star didn't collide with anyone, yet he unexpectedly had to leave the pitch before halftime against Brighton. This suggests that it could be a case of overexertion. Last season, Mount dealt with groin and calf issues, but recently it's his hamstring, a recurring injury that dates back to early 2019. It's important to understand that the hamstring is a sensitive area that doesn't get injured often, but when it does, it's usually because the player has been overexerting themselves. Reece James at Chelsea is the most notable case of recurring hamstring issues, and it seems like his thigh muscles are permanently damaged beyond repair. While Mason Mount's situation isn't as severe, it's certainly alarming. Players who suffer from hamstring problems are usually prone to other injuries, such as Luke Shaw and Ben Chilwell. This means that once a player starts having issues with their hamstrings, it's either due to overexertion or they've started getting accustomed to a life full of various injuries. If I had to predict, I would say Mason Mount might not succeed at Manchester United if Erik ten Hag continues his current footballing project. The intensity in midfield is something only Bruno Fernandes seems capable of handling, while most others are either unaccustomed or unable to adapt. According to Mount's injury record, he rarely suffers from direct physical impact injuries. Instead, he frequently deals with muscle injuries, which means he will likely continue to live with this problem. Since Mason Mount's best attribute is his movement, it's hard to imagine him suddenly avoiding these injury pitfalls. It's not fair to say that Chelsea deceived Manchester United, as United actively pursued Mount, and in football, injuries are a common occurrence. Mason Mount hasn't reached the level of other legendary players in terms of injury record, but life can be harsh. He is now walking the same path as Kaká or Torres after they reached the peak of their careers. If I had to sift through the situation, I'd say Mount's absence might actually be a blessing in disguise for Manchester United. It could lead to Manuel Ugarte stepping in to form a partnership with Kobbie Mainoo, supporting Bruno Fernandes further up the pitch. This might even be a turning point for Erik ten Hag's team in what seems to be a challenging season. As for Mason Mount, things do look bleak, but football, like life, comes with its ups and downs. Ineos, the new owner group, will surely address this situation soon, drawing on their past experience. If Mason Mount has to leave Manchester United early, it might be the best outcome for both parties, although I sincerely hope I'm wrong about this case. You've been watching a product of United Universe. Please let us know your thoughts by leaving a comment below. If you enjoyed this video, support the United Universe production team by hitting the like button, subscribing, and turning on notifications so you don't miss any new videos on the channel. For now, goodbye, and see you next time.